Well, welcome back to pizza class. In today's lesson, I'll show you how to make a buffalo chicken pizza. I'm actually going to talk about two ways to make a buffalo chicken pizza, a simple way and a more complex or nuanced way, which is a little more flavorful but takes a few extra steps. So let's first begin, as we always do, by talking about equipment and ingredients. As usual, there are no special equipment pieces required for this recipe. We'll just need a good knife, a cheese grater, and of course, our trusty pizza screen. Other than that, we don't have a lot of extra requirements for equipment for this episode. So let's talk about ingredients. The first thing we have is our traditional pizza sauce that we make, and I showed you how to make this pizza sauce in the episode on cheese and pepperoni pizza. We'll need a little bit of hot sauce. This is Frank's hot sauce. You can use your favorite brand of hot sauce. Just be sure that it's hot sauce and not wing sauce, as there is a slight difference. The wing sauce has a little more buttery, creamy flavor in it. We don't need that for this recipe. We'll need a red onion. And we'll need two kinds of cheese for this recipe. We'll need our mozzarella block cheese, whole milk, not part skim. And we'll also need mild cheddar cheese that we're going to grate as well. Both of these cheeses will be grated with a large texture in order to top our pizza. And we've got crumbled blue cheese topping. This blue cheese will be used after the pizza is baked, but it gives it that buffalo chicken appeal. And the last ingredient is chicken. Now, I'm using a rotisserie chicken to save time, but you could also use grilled chicken. This rotisserie chicken is just one that I purchased at my local store. You can buy them at your local grocery store, but I typically would use a chicken like this in order to save time, but you can grill your own chicken if you'd like. Just be sure to use a simple marinade. You don't need anything special for the chicken because most of the flavor from the pizza is going to come from the sauces and the toppings, so the chicken can be a basic marinade. But whatever chicken you decide to use, the first thing we're going to do is chop that chicken. Okay, so we've chopped our chicken. We've got enough, I think, for the topping of a 14-inch pizza there. We'll set that aside. And next we're going to chop our red onion. Now, we don't need a lot of this onion. It's mainly for garnish. So I'll just take a slice out of it like that. You can take the loose outer layer off. I like to use red onion because it gives a nice visual appeal to the pizza. The red skin on the onion just looks really cool. So I'll actually slice that at about half-inch thickness because, again, we're trying to have those onion slices visible on the actual pizza. Also, I like to use large slices like that because if someone doesn't like onions, it's easy to remove. So we've got our sliced onions there. Set those aside. Really don't need many of those, maybe a half cup. Next up, we're going to grate our cheese. For grating cheese, we always use a large whole cheese grater, so we get those nice large slices. We'll start with our mozzarella cheese. Again, always using whole milk mozzarella and grating it yourself. The flavor is superior every time. You don't want to buy shredded cheese because it tends to be dry and it tends to have powder added to it. And we only need about a half cup of grated mozzarella cheese, so that'll do for now. And what we're going to do is we're going to add to that mild cheddar cheese. And you can just grate it right onto that mozzarella cheese because they're going to be mixed. And this is also going to be a topping for our pizza. Two kinds of cheese, and this cheddar cheese gives it a nice savory flavor. If you want, you can blend those by hand, but that'll be enough, more than enough cheese for the top of this pizza. So there's our cheese ready to go. And next we're going to take a small bowl and we're going to combine just about a cup of our traditional sauce. Just about enough to top the pizza. And we're going to add in 1/2 cup of our hot sauce. This gives that buffalo flavor. Measure out a half cup. And add that in. Now you can experiment with this, and as you try this pizza, you may find that that amount of sauce is too much or just enough, or you need more. It depends on the amount of kick. You can also vary the spice of this pizza by choosing different temperament of hot sauce. If you buy hot or mild, you can adjust that. But I usually use a mild sauce because it has the widest appeal. I've mixed that hot sauce in now with my traditional pizza sauce, and that's going to give a spicy kick to the base of our pizza. Okay, with all of our ingredients in place, we're ready to begin preparing the base of our pizza. I've got a dough ball here that has been prepared a couple of days in advance, so it's ready to go. I'll just sprinkle a little bit of flour on that and get it out of the container. I've also allowed this dough ball to come to room temperature, which is always a good idea. And I like to just lay that dough ball in my Caputo flour. Caputo flour, you can also use semolina, and we'll start to shape that ball. So, as always, we begin with the crust. We've got 3 fingers down, and I'm pressing around the edge of that crust. And the dough should be nice and supple here. Should be easy to form, especially if it's at room temperature. If your dough is springing back on you, you want to wait until it comes to temperature in the room. All right, so we've got our crust formed by using the flat part of our fingers. Now we'll press out the middle. And this dough ball is ready to stretch. So again, we place our hands as fists under the edge of the crust, and we're really just stretching out that crust edge, forming the oval circular shape of the pizza. As long as you've got a nice shape to that pizza, and again, using a screen allows you to stretch that out just so, and we've got a nice 14-inch pizza there. So we'll begin by topping that pizza with the base that we created with hot sauce and traditional pizza sauce. And I usually make a little more than I'm going to need just to be sure that I have enough. This looks like we've got just about enough. I'm going to go ahead and cover the whole base of that pizza with sauce. You should be able to just barely see through it. And I think that's just about right. Especially with this pizza because this carries a lot of the flavor. And on a screen you can take your time and make sure you've got good even distribution of the sauce. Next up is our cubed chicken. If you've got enough to cover a plate, then you probably have enough to cover a pizza. It's roughly a cup. But it depends on the size that you cube the chicken. Next is our cheese that we combined. It's mild cheddar and mozzarella. The cheddar just adds a little savory flavor to the pizza. And we'll add a few of these onions. Again, this just gives it a really nice visual appeal because these red onions have some color. So there we go, we've got our pizza and it's ready for the oven. And we're gonna go over and place this in. Okay, that pizza is gonna go into our oven. The oven's been preheated to 485 degrees for well over an hour, so that's nice and hot. We're gonna put this pizza in. Okay, our timer has gone off. We've had the pizza in the oven for 8 minutes exactly. And I'm gonna take the pizza out now with our pizza peel. You can just check the bottom of the crust there. That looks wonderful. Fantastic looking pizza. There's what we have here. You can see the cheese has melted just perfectly. The crust is looking wonderful. And that pizza is ready to do our final step. As we mentioned, there is one final step for this pizza, and that is to add a little bit of crumbled blue cheese to the top of that pizza, just to give it a little bit of buffalo chicken flavor, and it also adds a nice visual appeal. And we're ready to cut this pizza and call it dinner. You should hear that crisp crunch as we slice through that pizza. There's our final product. So there's our buffalo chicken pizza, and that's the more complex method. If you're looking to save time, one thing that I've done in the past is simplified this entire pizza by, rather than using pizza sauce and hot sauce combined, just using your favorite wing sauce off the shelf of your grocery store. I recommend Sweet Baby Ray's. I've tried a lot of different brands, and that seems to be one of my favorites. It's got the buttery, creamy appearance, so you're just gonna take that sauce and combine the chicken with it before you place it on the pizza. You don't need any other base, and that saves you all the extra steps of making sauce and adding hot sauce. You can do the rest of the pizza just the same, and it will still taste terrific, but you eliminate that extra step. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Pizza Class, and I hope you love this recipe as well.